if the Yidden are zachu, if the Yidden behave and they deserve, so Mashiach will come with the clouds, and if not, Mashiach is never going to have to come on a donkey. So the Rebbe is applying that, what the Gemara says, to our discussion here. That is it going to be a mashal? Is it a parable, or is it something that's going to be literal? So previously in the Sikha, the Rebbe is saying, well, there's going to be phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1, things are going to be with derech mashal, only not in a literal sense. Things are still going to operate normally. So phase 2, I think things are going to be miraculous. Now the Rebbe is introducing this Gemara and making a comparison where there's zachu, whether the Yidden deserve it. When the Yidden deserve it, things will be in a miraculous way. And if not, then it's going to have to come more naturally, in a natural way. Das ist eine von den Fane Hatibach in der Plukta Benegea Binyan Hamigdash de la Asid. In the Plukta, this is also, with this we could reconcile another argument Benegea Binyan Hamigdash de la Asid concerning the building of the third Beis Hamikdash. Kama Mekoyme state as a Mikdash Shlishi is Bani Meshuchel V'Yigal V'Yav Min HaShamayim. In one place it says the Beis Hamikdash will be all fully built, all ready to go, and it's just gonna, just like that, come down from heaven. In andere Erze steht na ze Paskin der Rambam das Moshiach Beine Mikdash. That Moshiach is going to be the one to build it. So which one is it? Is Hashem's Home Depot gonna build it, or is it going to be Moshiach? So it's this similar concept that as we're discussing here. Das ist told in the Tzvei Phenomenal in the Geula Zeb Zachu is Yigal Yavin Hashemayim. It depends how the redemption will come about. If it's Zachu, which means that we are in a situation where we deserve it, so then it's going to come in a more prestigious way. It comes like Avram Fried says, bring the house down. If we're not so deserving, then it's going to have to be built through Al-Yidei Mashiach. Mashiach is going to have to go and build it. So the Rebbe is bringing here a lot of different things where there's on one side of the spectrum you have Zachu, then you have Loi Zachu, whether it's miraculous or it's naturally. Das was der Raman Paskin be Sefer Hayad, Sefer Halachis. So now, how does this fit in with the Rambam? Because this whole sikh is based on trying to understand the Rambam. The Rambam is giving a psak in halacha, which we all know in halacha there's no monkey business. It's either this way or that way. The Rambam is giving an official psak and saying that nothing is going to change. It says about the inyan from Mashiach v'Yosef v'Agula B'chlal is a halacha. It's because the whole concept of Mashiach, in generally speaking, it's an official halacha, meaning it's halacha berura, it's clear, upsuka, and it's set in stone. And as is after even in them, as there is nitoli be'efen the ma'ase b'nei Adam, as there is nitoli be'efen the ma'ase b'nei Adam. I'm not sure what the Rebbe is saying here. That it's not dependent on our actions. So now how does I guess if you let things just go in a natural way, it's not something that is dependent on the way we behave, which is on the other hand, if you're saying that Mashiach has to come from the clouds, that's something that could vary. It's going to depend of how we behave or not. So this is just explaining why the Rambam takes this as official psak to say the things are going to go naturally. The Rambam, since he's giving a psak is something that has to be crystal clear. How could the Rambam say so definitely that the world is going to be in a natural state? Because that's something that's compelled to happen, because it's not something that's it's dependent on how we behave or not. So whether or not we behave we're supposed to, the geula could come in a not natural way.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
If we're talking about natural versus unnatural, isn't it more so now is unnatural, because the way the world is meant to be is one in which godliness is revealed, and so nature doesn't have an upper hand in terms of how things work. So to say that miracles are not natural seems to be contrary to the idea of Moshiach in general.
Miracles. You mean because the whole theme of Mashiach is that it comes on in a natural way?
Meaning, isn't it more natural that God is obvious rather than concealed? Isn't that the intent of creation, and therefore the natural state of being? And anything preventing that would be an unnatural state of being, or a temporary position to have before Mashiach comes and Hashem is revealed everywhere.
Yeah, that's very much a theme of Mashiach, in fact.
So it's interesting we're talking about what's natural versus not, but
because that fits right in.
What is natural versus what's not. Are miracles unnatural, or are they what nature is supposed to be?
Well, in many Maimorim, it speaks about the whole difference between nature and miracles. That really miracle itself is a nature. It's just a matter of what is revealed. What do we see? And for example, the story of Purim, it brings in my some of my Maimorim that it was a natural miracle. It worked with nature, and that's something that's far more powerful than just coming along and just shattering through nature and says, "Hey, I don't care what, I'm going to just take a bulldozer," and which is like what happened by the splitting of the Red Sea. And Hashem came along and just, "Hey, ready or not, here I come." And that's why the Rambam here prefers to say that it's a mashal, that things are going to be naturally. Because Mashiach is not something that's, boom, boom, bam, things are just going to be flying all over the place. And if you read in the Rebbe's, you could call it last will and testament, which is the last two years of, before he had a stroke, the Rebbe made it very clear that Mashiach is something very natural. It's the way everything is, and you're taking the Aleph, which represents Hashem, and you're infusing it in the nature. So that's what Mashiach is all about. So Yud Ches. So now we're going a bit deeper. Das was der Rambam ist mit Peir, wie die Geula beäufen, ist die Geula beäufen, als es wird nicht sein, kein Bittel darum Hagishalaylam. The reason why the Rambam is describing the Geula in a way that it's not going to abolish things that are business as usual. Nicht weil der Rambam is mitar die Geula as wird kommen beäufen shalay zach chas v'shalom. He's not chas v'shalom telling us, well, okay, I know you guys are not going to deserve it, so things are going to have to come in a natural way. Nor weil der Rambam belernt, as das was Chazal sagen, as wenn sie so Masse von Zochel, weil sein kamen wie kamen Iluyen, mit an Hagen Nisses, ist das ein ihnen Neusif of Etzem Giddush Mashiach. So it's not a contradiction. All of these glorious miracles and wild stuff, it's an addition to the Etzem Gedri, and this is what you were bringing up, Laser, that it's part of the essential definition of Mashiach is to be something natural. So that's like the meat and potatoes of Mashiach is that it's a natural way. The noisif, and like in the cherry or the cream that's on top of the cake, is all of these beautiful miracles which will happen, as mentioned previously, in a second phase. Let's face what the Rebbe explained it a little bit more. Mitzad gidrei shel Mashiach b'yaseh. looking at it from the point of view of the definition of Mashiach, like what is it all about, is the Seder von der Eilikim Hagi Noig, weil der Eiftu von Bias HaMashiach Ba'alacha is was durch ihn wird sein die Schlimmes mit Kiem Mitzvahs Ba'alachis Shel Torah. Because so the Rebbe is saying, why is this so? Why is Mashiach has to be in a very normal way? Because what Mashiach is bringing us shleim as a completion of how we perform mitzvahs and how we learn Torah. And the whole Mashiach is connected to a world that's operating normally. It's just like as an extra bonus if the Yidden behave in this, they push the envelope. They give it all they got, and we're in a situation of zachu. That Zayna Inyan Noisev will be an additional thing, additional benefit, in addition to all the great stuff happening. And unnaturally, as the Eibusher wird beweisen, Nisim Chulu Oif zu Areisweisen die Heisafa Sachavivis Amayl von Yidden. Hashem will say, well, you know what? I see how you guys are really tried. So now I'm going to give you something extra, something in addition to what I had planned. Page 205, the second column. And with this we could apply to what we said before, how the Beis Hamikdash will be built. Pirush Bezeh is nit as the Yigal v'Yavim Shamayim is bestira to Mashiach Bein Hamikdash. So it's not that if the Beis Hamikdash comes flying down from heaven, it's going to contradict to the fact that Mashiach builds a Beis Hamikdash. In other words, either or. The Rebbe is saying, no, it's not either or. Either comes from heaven, the Beis Hamikdash, or Mashiach builds it. No. Rather, it's something in addition. Whereas mitzad gedra halacha is an infam bin Beis Hamikdash achiv mitzvah oif yidden. Again, from a halachic point of view, it is the obligation from us, the Jews, to build the Beis Hamikdash. Also, Hashem commands us, you should make for me a mikdash. The fire passing the Rambam as Mashiach, so comes also again explaining the Rambam, he's coming with a most definite fact and saying as Mashiach, that everything is going to go back to the way it was before. We will once again reappoint a king over the Yidden, and once again rebuild the Beis Hamikdash. Melech HaMashiach wird durchführen die Mitzvah von Binyan Beis Hamikdash. So, and from a halachic point of view, Mashiach is just going to simply fulfill a mitzvah, an obligation that we all have. I guess Mashiach will represent all of us by going and building the Beis Hamikdash. By the way, building means, it doesn't mean that we're going to have to build the whole thing from scratch. In another place, it is explained that just by putting up the doors, the gates of the Beis Hamikdash, we already that's already considered as if the whole Beis Hamikdash was built by Moshiach. So in other words, both things are going to happen. We're going to have the Beis Hamikdash flying down from heaven, but it's going to be missing its doors. And in the saddest day of the year, in Tisha B'Av, we read in Eicha that the Tavu Ba'aretz She'areh, that when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, the gates were sunk into the ground. Mashiach comes, these gates are going to be making an appearance. Mashiach will then take these gates and affix them to the Beis Hamikdash, and thus this will be considered as if Mashiach has built the Beis Hamikdash. But getting back to our discussion here, the Rebbe is trying to say how there is there's the way things are according to halacha, because we're discussing here the Rambam. According to halacha, the world has to run the way it is, and there's a certain set things that the Eibusher set in place. Put it as almost like in the plan of what will happen when Mashiach comes. And if we push the envelope, then Hashem says, oh, okay, now I'm going to give you a bonus. The bonus will be all these different miraculous things. It's the back inside. The matzah von Zachel tutu fai haisafa, as the mikdash shlamata yavei und soll sich antan der Mikdash de la Meile. Yahweh v'yigala mishamayim. So it will be an extra bonus, the fact that this that will have the Beis Hamikdash coming from heaven. Okay, we're holding page 205. If you test the last sikh of the sikha, he's as moving the hechach of the zweite tkufi b'meis HaMashiach. Now we can understand why is it necessary to have the second phase where all these wild miracles are going to happen. Why can't things just be normally the way it is? Especially like as we've been discussing before, the whole theme of Moshiach is normalcy. Things are going to operate normally. The Rebbe spoke in Tafshin and Aleph and in Beis. The world will be the same. You're just infusing it with Hashem. So why is it so necessary to have a second phase where all these wild miracles will take place? After Mashiach comes, and that we'll have to see which way it's going to play out. Is it going to come again like this? We said before, the zachu or loy zachu? Will it happen in a miraculous way or not? But at any rate, whatever way Mashiach, whatever form Mashiach comes, since at that time there won't be any oppressors. No one will be stopping us or disturbing us or distracting us from serving Hashem. We'll be totally focused. We're not going to have our phones next to us beeping away with WhatsApps. We're just going to be focused totally on learning Torah and mitzvahs kahagen the way it's supposed to be. On the contrary, if it's ein pnuyim b'Torah v'chachmasa, we will be pnuyim. That means you won't have anything on your agenda. Our calendars are going to be clear. Could you imagine such a life? Calendars clear, just focus on solely one thing, just to serve Hashem. It's a feel of kol ha'elam. It's not that this is something that in Williamsburg or Borough Park or Crown Heights this is going to happen. This will happen throughout the entire world. Kol ha'omes, page 206. Even the Lahavl Goyim, everybody will have this one single focus, just to serve Hashem. V'zayin l'das es Hashem bilvad. It will be the singular thing of knowing Hashem. And in such a time, that is why the Yidden are going to be great chachamim. The world will literally be drenched in the knowledge of Hashem. This brings a completion to the situation of Zachu, which is the most ideal situation. So once the world is already settled in, I don't know if it fits to say that when the dust settles, when everybody's engaged in serving Hashem, and there's 100% focus on serving Hashem, then the world is all ready and set to go to the next phase, to take it to the next level, which is when all of these wild miracles will happen. Which, by the way, in that time, that's when all the Tchias HaMeson, all the dead will arise. Besides for select few, which will come to life right when Mashiach comes. So, in other words, it can't be. It would not make sense if right away when Mashiach comes, boom, you have all these miracles flying, and people are just not going to handle it. You first need to have Mashiach comes, everybody sees, okay, we experience, everybody goes to Eretz Yisrael. Then once things settles down, then we are now ready to go take it to the next level, phase 2, and it is in this second phase where all these miraculous wonders are going to take place. But in the first phase, as the Rambam makes it very clear, as a halacha, as a psak, the world is going to be operating business as usual. And therefore in Sefer Hayad, the Rambam is masber together from Mashiach v'yasal pi halacha. Again, the Rebbe keeps on saying, in the Sefer, which we call Sefer Hayad of the Rambam, and this is a halacha. Halacha is, again, it's no monkey business. It's got to be straight cut. In such a book, the Rambam is telling us, is Ramazbir v'dimatzav elam hadzayin in azman v'ifim from oilam kimin hagi noig. That's why the Rambam is so adamant and clear that when Mashiach comes, it has to be business as usual. And again, which fits has to fit very well with the whole concept of what Mashiach is. The whole definition of Mashiach is that everything operates normally. It's just in a shleimistic way. Everything is in the most complete and ideal way. So this is all in the Rambam, in his Sefer Hayad, where there is clear cut halacha. Previously in the Sikha, we brought a contradiction from what the Rambam writes in the Sefer Hayad, in a book which is a book of halacha, to what he writes in what's called the Igeres T'chias HaMesim, literally translated as the letter of the resurrection of the dead. So over there, the Rambam writes, which is not a book of halacha, is there a Moshiach Bir b'Sefer Hayad. There, in addition to what he writes, and he's explaining even what he previously wrote in the Sefer Hayad, which is Sefer of Halacha, as ein diberein hechlati. He says, by the way, what I said previously in the book of Halacha, it's not hechlati. It doesn't have to be that way. It's not in a box. It's not set in stone. Why? Because if the Yidden by chance are in the situation of Zachu, where everybody suddenly behaves that all Yidden are keeping Shabbos and everything, noch Zaindik in Golas, and this is all while we're in Golas, all the Yidden suddenly rally together and we all are in the situation of Zachu, that the Poel Zain, then there is a possibility that even right when Mashiach comes, there will be the Anhagim Yechadas Momail, there will be this extraordinary behavior from above that all these wild miracles actually could happen right away. The Anhaga from Bitum and Haga Shalaylam, where things are going to change. So really, nothing really, and this could apply to anything of Mashiach, anything that we ever study about Mashiach, nothing is really set in stone, because just think about it. It's something that never ever happened before. It's a one-time deal, because that's it. Once Moshiach comes, there's no going back. So there's a lot of I don't know if I could say speculation, because it all depends of the behavior of the Yidden, and it's all based on the Gemara. The Gemara says, well, if the Yidden are zachut, if they deserve it, Moshiach will come in such a way, and if not, it's going to come in a more natural way. So this is all based on the Rambam. From his perspective, he's explaining it from the perspective of halacha, but somebody else that would come along and give it not from a halachic perspective, like the Rambam himself writes in the Igeres T'chias HaMesim. He says, well, it's not hechlati. It could come in an unnatural way. So Mashiach should come literally right away, and wishing a refuah shlema. My dear Uncle Chaim Levi ben Chanapriva made this learning be in his merit. Hashem should finally give full refuah shlema that he needs, and everybody else that needs a refuah shlema. Thanks for joining us, and we will meet again, Mr. Hashem, next week at the same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Any questions?
I have a question about a different subject.